as you practice, you become clearer and you create clarity and focus and fulfillment, right, in your life every day, because you're doing the things that mean something to you, and they mean something to you because you understand the why behind them, and the why behind them is really the ultimate vision of where you want to be. In 2022, I decided to completely shut down my YouTube channel, and this is actually my first video back. So I wanted to give you guys something that has been super helpful for me, that I've been doing for many years now, but didn't really have a name attached to it. And I wanted to talk to you about ways to be more productive and why we need to add in things like rest and resets and all of the things that have really allowed me to take control of my life, my business, and that I want to just impart to you in this first video back, because I'm very excited about it. I feel like it's something that is a game changer and will really shift your mindset on how we look at productivity, how we look at failure, how we look at falling off the wagon and getting our lives together and getting back on track. So all of those things. So today, I just want to jump right into that and get moving. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And thank you so much for being here if you are one of my returning subscribers. My name is Ashlee Tate, and on this channel, I like to talk about profit, purpose, and productivity. All the things to help you design a life and business that you love. So when I was starting my YouTube channel, I just started. It was super messy. I was just throwing videos up there. I was just going, okay? And I do really, that is a philosophy of mine, do things messy, especially as entrepreneurs. There is no perfect, there is no streamlined way to do and execute your idea. That's why it's called entrepreneurship, because you're filling a void. You are doing it on your own, and you are making things happen. So shout out to all the entrepreneurs out there, because you guys are pretty dang awesome. One of the things that I realize is with great power comes great responsibility. And oftentimes what I see is entrepreneurs, we will run ourselves into the ground sometimes. And we often forget that we have to take care of ourselves before we can start taking care of our businesses and taking care of our families and doing all of the other things that we love. Sometimes we can actually put ourselves on the back burner. So years ago, I decided that, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm gonna come up with a way to consistently make myself a priority and make sure that I'm working towards the things that I really care about. And especially as a mother, as a wife, I have 2 kids that we're always running around, we're traveling with soccer and doing all the things. And I also run a nonprofit. There are a lot of things that pull at my attention and my focus. And it became really important for me to create a system for myself to keep the projects and the things that are most important to me, that make me feel fulfilled and happy and successful and all of the things. Those things needed to be a priority, and they needed to be at the forefront of everything I do at the start of my day, making sure that I'm hitting all of those things that are important. So my point today is I want to show you how I do that from a higher level. I mean, you guys know, of course, about morning routines. You guys know about night routines. You know about all of those things as far as productivity. So I want to go a little bit higher level and show you how I set this up so that you can come up with the perfect morning routine for yourself, and you can come up with the perfect nighttime routine, the perfect habits that are going to work for you, all of these things. And really where it all starts is understanding that we are practicing. We are practicing at life. We are making progress as we practice. And that's why all of this really brings my whole philosophy together as far as when you are an entrepreneur. If you've ever been coached by me or you've ever gone through any of my courses, you know that it is just a big, messy process. And I'm all about that. I want you guys to just start things, let fear go, and just move forward. Just move forward on whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's starting a podcast, starting a business, you want to create a nonprofit, whatever it is, start it. And the reason I say that is because basically you're practicing failing. Inevitably, we are all going to fail at something. And so it's important to understand how you're going to fail and how you're going to fail fast and learn from that and then move forward. So I have 5 tips today that's gonna walk you through how to actually create this system for yourself. I call it the Practice Your Perfect 6. The first thing I wanna talk to you about is why I call it practice. And the reason I call it practice is because we practice everything else. We practice everything else in life, right? Like doctors practice medicine, we practice soccer, our kids go practice dance, like they practice everything for the big performance. Well, our big performance is our vision, like actualizing that vision of who we actually want to be, what we want to achieve, how we want to present to the world. All of those things are practiced. And that's kind of the philosophy behind the Practice Your Perfect Six. All of these things should be practiced. And what that allows us to do is, as you practice, you become clearer and you create clarity and focus and fulfillment, right, in your life every day, because you're doing the things that mean something to you. And they mean something to you because you understand the why behind them. And the why behind them is really the ultimate vision of where you want to be. And I'm sorry, you guys, I talk a lot with my hands. I can't even help it, so that's how it's gonna be. The first piece of this Practice Your Perfect Six is really understanding that you need to do a full reset. Now, I do have a video on the full reset method, and it goes through 5 different steps of what to do for that reset piece. And basically, it's like you're gonna reevaluate, you're gonna set new goals, you're gonna do different things throughout that process. But the most important thing that it allows you to do is really look at what's working and what's not working in your life. What were you trying to do and what was that trying to achieve? And is it still necessary, right? Sometimes we set goals and sometimes we achieve those goals like faster than we thought. Sometimes the goals become unimportant because things happen in your life and you need to now let that goal go and move on to something else, or you have a different opportunity and you want to focus on that goal. And that is life. Like, that's what happens, right? We're not always in control. Things are not a complete linear line to success. I think it's really important to understand that sometimes pivots come in there and we have to learn how to adjust. Those reset periods are so important for that. And another period that is also in conjunction with the reset is it's also a period of rest. You're kind of taking a longer period to rest your mind, rest that kind of hustle mentality, and allow yourself to stop and just look at what's going on in your life. And where maybe most people might do this on a daily basis, I do this every 7 weeks, essentially. Like on my 7th week, I will do this either for a day if it's in between my 12 weeks, or I do it on the 13th week at the end of my full 12 weeks. So I break up my 12 weeks into 2 6-week sessions. And then on that 7th week, on day 1, I will reevaluate just for a day, take a little rest for a day, and then I look at everything, use my reset method just to make sure I'm on track. When you are working in those 12 weeks and you don't have a rest period, it can feel a little overwhelming when you look back in 12 weeks and you say, oh gosh, I didn't accomplish anything I wanted to. But if you stop at that 7th week and that day 1 and just give yourself 1 day, you allow yourself to really see if you're still on track with making progress or if you need to make an adjustment. And that's why I call it a practice, right? You're building a practice of being productive. You're building a practice of checking in on your health. You're building a practice of all the areas and just kind of keeping a good pulse on what's going on. I will have something to show you exactly how this is all set out in the description box below so that it's a little easier, because I feel like it's a lot of information, but it is something that once you have that reset, perfect. So the next step, number 2, is vision casting. And vision casting is something that I think really should be evaluated every time you do a reset. And the reason that you do the resets and you do your vision casting afterwards is because as you're doing your reset, you figure out, like, does this actually work for me? Is that still the direction I really want to go? I didn't like how I felt when I did X. I didn't like this. And what that does is, even if you don't have a vision starting out, just by you saying the things that you don't like and that you know you do not need in your life or do not want to do anymore, that in and of itself is creating your vision for you. And it's easier sometimes to say, I don't want this, or I know that I never want to be like that, but maybe you don't know exactly what you are looking for. So don't be hard on yourself if you don't have a vision. You know, I know everybody has all these vision boards and all this vision casting stuff, but like, some people are not wired to just have a vision that they can just pull out like this and start writing down. So try to think of a way that you can look at the things that you don't actually want in your life, or the things that you don't want, like where you don't want to end up. If you know that part, write that down, because that's also a version of a vision. So vision casting is huge. I want you guys to really work on that I do this all the time, and I keep it in a place where I can find it and just reevaluate the vision, so that when these reset periods come up, I can kind of go through my rest and my reset period. Then I can look at my vision and see, like, where have things changed? Like, is this still the vision that I'm on the path to? Is this still important to me? Those two are really important. They're the best foundation to start with as you go into this next step. Now, the next step is creating your master list. So your master list is all about putting every piece of, like, all the areas of your life. So the way I have mine set up is, like, I have health, personal, work, nonprofit, friendships. I have a lot of things on there, like relationships, whatever, family. I have a lot of things on there. And the reason I do this is because these are only for 12-week periods. So I set my master list up for a 12-week period, so that when I hit that 7th week, day 1, I can go back and I can look at my master list and say, yep, I did that, I did this, I did this, I wanted to accomplish this, I did that. Okay, I haven't really worked on that. I better get that in there too. I better work on that in the next 6 weeks. And so that's why that Practice Your Perfect 6 is something that allows you to check in on yourself to say, okay, this is where I was like 6 weeks ago. How much of that did I accomplish? How much of that has been calendared? How much of that is something that I still want to get done? And it's really, it sounds like a pain, but hopefully when you download the information down below, like if you download the worksheet or whatever, you'll be able to see that it's actually not that big of a deal. It's just a place for you to use as a placeholder for the things that are important to you. Because a lot of times we expect ourselves to say, oh yeah, I want to start working on this. I want to reach out to a friend every Friday. I want to start talking to sponsors about X. But we forget these things, and then we have other people putting responsibilities on us, and we'd lose track of what we were doing. So the master list is something that just allows you to add and take away over a 6 to 12 week period. It's a 12-week setup. And basically what I do is every 12 weeks, I will write, that this is for March to May. I'm not the best, consistent journaler. I love to journal. I don't do it consistently. I don't do it every day. I don't do it every anything. I'm not consistent. So if I'm not consistent about it, this is my way of kind of checking in. I can check in with myself and be like, oh yes, this is what I wanted to do. This is what I was setting out to do. So think of your master list as like a 12-week journal, essentially. You're not writing that much. I don't write much at all. I just write, if it's health, I'll write maybe my weight and maybe some things that I want to do. And I write my weight on there as a metric to say, is it improving? Is it getting worse? I'm checking myself. I don't weigh myself every day, but I do weigh myself pretty much every 12 weeks to just kind of see what's working, what's not working, especially when I've added those different methods in. Or if there's something you want to track as far as your business, maybe you want to say I have this many customers, or I have this many followers, or this is what I'm doing on my YouTube metrics. Whatever it is, you add those into your master list, and then you forget about it. You don't think about it anymore. Your master list is not something you refer to every day at all. This is just a placeholder. So I would put this where I put my vision. Keep that there. You can keep it with your reset, your vision, and your master list can all be together, because these aren't going to be things that you're going to be looking at every day. So the next piece of this is your daily docket. So understanding that you have all of these areas that you want to improve on your master list. Now we go into your daily docket and we transfer the things that it's going to take for you to do on a day-to-day basis for you to actually accomplish the things on your master list for those 12 weeks. So this is where the actual perfect 6 comes in. The Practice Your Perfect 6 is really your daily docket. And what that means is basically on my phone, I'll create a notes section, or I can do it on however you want to do it. You can do it on Google, you can do it on your notes app. You can do it inside of the calendar, where you actually open up a date, and then you put in, whatever you're doing for that day. If you're somebody who's more visual that needs it, and when I first started this method, I would actually write out everything on this note and then I would make it pop up as a daily thing. Like it would be the same thing every day, but it would have like, take your vitamins, get up at 5:30 a.m. Like it would have the whole schedule, but it would just be like on a daily thing and it would show up every day. Now I have daily docket on my calendar and it does show up every day, but since I know what it is, just if I get off track, will I go in there and click in there just to see, okay, what was I supposed to be doing today? What goes into the daily docket? Things that would go into the daily docket would be, so if you're focused on your health and you want to feel optimized every day, which is one of mine, I will take my vitamins. I like to wake up at 5:30 if I can. I like to get a walk in for 45 minutes. I like to read every day and you can set a metric if you want. The real deal is that you want to create that perfect routine. That's what you're trying to do. Now, again, we're not looking for perfection. It's your perfect routine. The reason I don't show you my perfect routine is because it works for me. And I have 2 children, a nonprofit, an online business, a busy life. Like it won't be the same, but it's the perfect routine that works for me. So if you want to wake up and have a smoothie every morning and you want to then go work out and then you want to have a period of hours of work and then you want to pick up your kids and you want to take them to ice cream every day, whatever it is that you want to do, you write it into that perfect routine. And you can either take a screenshot and keep that on your phone. The screensaver, you can use that for that, or your lock screen, or you can just have it inside of your calendar and know that that's what you're going to refer to every day. So the point of the daily docket is to make it something that you're going to look at every single day for yourself, especially when you're just starting to practice your perfect 6. You want to be able to look at this every single day, because what's going to happen, and I guarantee it, something unexpected is going to happen in your day. It happens to me all the time. And this is why I call it a practice. Okay, because the practice is something that you're continually working towards. The practice your perfect 6 is something's gonna happen in your perfect day, okay? And it's gonna throw you way off and you're gonna feel like you are off track, and that's totally okay. The purpose of having the daily docket is so that you can go back to that and you can check. Sometimes, guys, I'm taking my vitamins at 3 o'clock. And the reason it's happening at 3 o'clock is because something happened in my day, it threw me off. I completely lost track of time trying to get back on my other things that I was doing. At 3 o'clock, I checked my daily docket and I saw that I didn't take my vitamins today. I didn't do whatever I set out to do in the morning, maybe because something happened in the morning. Maybe a kid left a backpack. That happens all the time. And so now I am in a situation where I have to try and catch up. But it's easier to catch up when you can just go through a list and figure out, like, oh yeah, these are the things I wanted to do. These are the things that were most important to me in my day that I wanted to achieve to make me feel like I'm having my perfect day. I want to kind of dispel the myth of like having this perfect routine and then sticking to it every single day and everything just being absolutely perfect all the time, because it's not. And when you do get a perfect day, you should pat yourself on the back and be so proud of yourself. But if you don't get a perfect day, tell yourself it's practice, and you're gonna practice this method and you're gonna practice this routine for 6 weeks. And I'm telling you, after you've practiced something for 6 weeks, those things do become a habit. What it also does is it gives you a lot of information to learn about yourself, to say, hey, maybe I'm not a great morning person that can work out in the morning. Maybe I enjoy working out in the afternoon. Maybe I don't like doing my work at 10 o'clock in the morning. I want to do it at 5:30 in the morning. Like, there's lots of different things that it will show you. And over time, it teaches you your own personal rhythms and your own routines that work best for you. I think I have talked more than enough. I have one more thing to say about this routine and this method. The 5th piece of the method is to put it on your calendar. Okay, so yes, you put the daily docket on there. You put the daily docket on, that's great. The other piece of that daily docket is to put things on there that are concrete parts of your schedule, like times that you actually want to do things. So as an example, I have a deep work routine that I use, and I do deep work from 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. So it's about 4 hours of work, and that's the amount of time that I have that I don't have any kids home. Generally, I won't make any appointments during that time unless it's a scheduled appointment, like a group coaching call. And I always use that time to get any sort of deep work done that I need to. And I'll talk about that a little bit more, but in another video. But basically, that is my routine. So I actually put that on my calendar because that makes it your time. It makes it clear to you. It is a clear boundary, and it's something that you're reminded of every day on your calendar. Now, let's say that you want to get some specific work done in that deep work. What I'll do is I'll open up that appointment in my date book. I'll open it up and I will write in there the things that I want to do. And you can change it however you'd like. But another thing would be waking up at 5:30 to work out or to go to the gym. Like, those things go on your calendar. Anything that's an actual set time will go on your calendar. Everything else, including those things, goes into your daily docket, and you look at that on a daily basis, and it pops up on your phone every single day. And then every 6 weeks, if you need to change it or amend it or whatever, then you do that. But this is the goal that you're setting for yourself for those 6 weeks, so that you can practice your perfect six. So I hope this video helped you guys. I hope it makes sense what I'm talking about as far as the practice your perfect six. I would love to hear what you're gonna put into your practice your perfect six challenge. Get out there and unleash your something amazing. Start by practicing your perfect six. I'm so excited to be back, you guys. Thank you so much if you watched this video to the end and listened to all my talking. I appreciate you. Thank you again. And if you know someone who would love to be in a challenge like this or who needs help with productivity, please be sure to share this video and like it. And don't forget to subscribe, because I'll be sharing more tips on how to be productive, profitable, and purposeful. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.